Assalamu alaikum. This is Prapunti Chakraborty welcoming you to the English news from Btv-Chattogram. Let's begin with the top stories. Appeal against cancellation of nomination papers in 13th National Parliament election ends. Hearing to continue till January 18th. Next election to determine country's future, says Power, Energy and Mineral Resources Advisor. Interim government prepares July charter with proposals of 6 commissions relevant for election, says Information and Broadcasting Advisor. U.S. Trade Representative assures positive consideration as Bangladesh proposes to reduce reciprocal tariffs from 20%. Month-long flower festival begins at Bosarhat DC Park, displaying 140 species of flowers. Anti-government protests spread to more than 100 cities in Iran. Ceasefire announced between government forces and SDF in Syria. And Chhatgram Royals beat Raater Warriors by 2 wickets in first match of the day in BPL. Viewers, those were the headlines. Now moving on to the details. Today is the 5th and final day for aggrieved candidates to submit appeals against the decision of returning officers in the 13th National Parliamentary election. Hearings of the appeal will begin tomorrow and continue until January 18th. Appeal applications were received at 10 booths set up for this purpose at the election building premises in Agargaon in the capital. According to the Election Commission, 174 appeal applications were submitted yesterday on the 4th day. With this, the EC has received a total of 600 appeal applications over the past 4 days. January 4th was the last day for scrutiny of nomination papers, during which the nominations of 723 candidates were rejected. Today was the last day for aggrieved candidates to submit appeals to the Election Commission. Power, Energy and Mineral Resources Advisor Mohammad Faisal Kabir Khan has said the upcoming election will not be held under constraints like before. He added that next national election will determine the country's future. The advisor urged voters to support reforms by casting a yes vote in the referendum, saying that reforms are essential to ensure a balance of power in parliamentary democracy. Faisal Kabir Khan made the remarks while addressing a voter Gari campaign at Shohid Shena Maidan in Dinajpur today. The advisor said the July mass uprising took place in protest against the deprivation of people's voting rights. People could not vote, votes were not properly counted, and desired people were not allowed to be elected. The upcoming parliamentary election aims to change that reality, he added. Dinajpur Deputy Commissioner Muhammad Rafiqul Islam presided over, while Energy and Mineral Resources Division Secretary Muhammad Saiful Islam, Bangladesh Oil, Gas and Mineral Corporation Chairman Muhammad Rizanur Rahman, Department of Mass Communication Director General Abdul Jalil, Rangpur Deputy Commissioner Enamul Hassan, and other senior officials were present on the occasion. Faisal Kabir Khan also mentioned that Dinajpur has a significant number of minority and indigenous voters. Necessary instructions have been given to the district and police administrations to ensure they can go to polling centers and exercise their voting rights without hindrance, added the advisor. Stability and security has emerged as one of the key concerns among the public surrounding the upcoming referendum and national parliamentary election. Voters are calling for a return to normalcy in the law and order situation. They want the election to be participatory and free and a favorable and fair environment to be ensured. All political parties, large and small, are now fully active on the campaign trail. Intense public outreach is underway, with candidates themselves as well as party and candidate representatives and supporters going door to door to reach voters. Civil society hopes for assurances that people will be able to cast their votes and elect their representatives without fear or anxiety. For a long time, the public has been deprived of the opportunity to vote. There is a renewed hope that the leadership emerging from the election will deliver a positive Bangladesh. Voters say that from this pre-election period onward, maintaining law and order and upholding the human rights situation must be treated as priorities. They also expect that a government established through the people's mandate will be committed to safeguarding justice, equality, and fairness in society. Information and Broadcasting Advisor Sayeda Rizwana Hassan has said the interim government has prepared the July charter based on proposals from 6 commissions that are directly relevant to holding elections, considering the short of time of the government. She made the remarks today while attending the opening session of the 2 days Bapabin National Conference at the Krishibid Institution in the capital. Rejecting claims that environmental issues were ignored in the formation of commissions, the advisor said such comments are not right. The information advisor said the government prioritized only those democratic institutions that are directly related to the election process when forming commissions. Rizwana Hassan mentioned that it is not reasonable to expect a government of 1.5 years to clear the accumulated debris of 54 years. Discussion can focus on whether the government is doing as much as possible within a year, she added. Referring to St. Martin's Island, Sayeda Rizwana Hassan said biodiversity in the area has recovered as a result of restrictions imposed there. She urged environmentalists to remain vocal so that this trend continues. The advisor also said stopping the use of polythene bags is not the government's responsibility alone. Awareness and action at the individual level are equally important for environmental protection, she added. National Security Advisor Dr. Khaleda Rahman met with U.S. Trade Representative Ambassador Jamieson Greer in Washington, D.C. on Thursday afternoon. He also had a separate meeting with Assistant USTR Brenton Lynch, said the chief advisor's press wing today. During the meeting with Ambassador Greer, Dr. Rahman briefed him on the progress in reducing trade gap between Bangladesh and the United States. Even before the formal execution of the reciprocal trade agreement, Bangladesh has made major strides in reducing the trade gap by sustainability increasing imports from the U.S. and has implemented some key aspect of the agreement, Dr. Khaleda Rahman said. In light of this, Dr. Khaleda proposed to USTR to reduce the reciprocal tariff from current 20%. Ambassador Greer agreed to positively consider the proposal. He also agreed to give serious consideration to Dr. Khaleda Rahman's proposal to lower or eliminate U.S. reciprocal tariff on apparel using U.S. content. Both sides agreed to rapidly resolve a handful of outstanding matters in order that the reciprocal tariff agreement could be finalized and executed expeditiously. Dr. Rahman pointed out that business contacts between Bangladesh and the U.S. are expected to increase significantly in the coming days as a result of increased trade between the two countries. He invited Ambassador Greer to use his good offices to ease business travel by Bangladesh in light of the recent inclusion of Bangladesh in the U.S. visa bond. Leaders and activists vote at Ziauddin in Shiribanganogar in the capital today to pay their tribute at the grave of the recently deceased BNP chairperson and former Prime Minister Begum Khaleda Zia. People from different organizations and classes and professions have come from different parts of the country since morning to pay their respect by placing flowers at their grave, the tomb of Begum Khaleda Zia. They offered prayers and du'as seeking their forgiveness of Begum Khaleda Zia's soul. Quran recitation is going on at one side of the grave. A month-long flower festival has started at the DC Park in Fozerhad of Chhatgram today. This year's flower festival has been decorated with more than 1 lakh flowers of 140 species. This park has become a place of relief from the mechanical noise of the city. Chhatgram DC Park, built on 194 acres of land on the seashore, is now like a kingdom of flowers. The charming Chhatgram Flower Festival 2026 was inaugurated by Senior Secretary of the Ministry of Public Administration, Ehsanul Haq. Chhatgram Divisional Commissioner Dr. Ziauddin, CMP Commissioner, Deputy Commissioner, and other administration officials were present on the occasion. This flower festival is being held for the 4th consecutive year. People of all ages are coming to the flower festival to enjoy the beauty of flowers. Many are coming with their families, relatives, and friends. This time, new attractions added to DC Park include zipline, climbing tree, tree heart, big flower tree, umbrella tree, and flower tea. In addition to being fascinated by the beauty of flowers, visitors to this festival can enjoy cultural programs from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. every day. There is also a special stall at this festival to promote the 13th National Parliament election and referendum 2026. This month-long festival will continue till February 8th. Chhatgram 6 constituency candidate, BNP Vice Chairperson Ghiashuddin Qadir Chaudhary exchanged views with journalists working in various media outlets in Chhatgram on contemporary issues at his residence in Chowk Bazar today. Ghiashuddin Qadir Chaudhary said, although the country was free from fascists on August 5th, political killings are still happening in Rauzan of Chattogram. 19 people have been killed there since August of 2024. He strongly demanded that the relevant authorities take strict action against those involved in the killings. He said the supporters of fascism are carrying out terrorist activities in Rauzan under the umbrella of BNP. They are also hiding in the administration. During the exchange of views, he also commented that weapons are coming from outside the country. Regarding the nomination of 2 candidates from BNP in the Chhatgram 6 constituency, he claimed that the party's high command has indicated that it will move forward with its election activities. It will be confirmed on January 20th. However, if another candidate is nominated by the party, he will accept it and work according to the party's instructions. He also hoped that the upcoming 13th National Parliament election will be a milestone in the country's history. Now, international news. Huge crowds of protesters have been marching through Iran's capital and other cities. Videos show in what is said to be the largest show of force by opponents of the clerical establishment in years. Later, a monitoring group reported a nationwide internet blackout. Protesters can be heard in the footage calling for the overthrow of Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei and the return of Reza Pahlavi, the exiled son of the late former Shah, who had urged his supporters to take to the streets. It was the 12th consecutive day of unrest that has been sparked by anger over the collapse of the Iranian currency and has spread to more than 100 cities and towns across all 31 of Iran's provinces, according to human rights groups. The US-based human rights activist news agency Raater has said at least 34 protesters, 5 of them children, and 8 security personnel have been killed, and that 2,270 other protesters have been arrested. Norway-based Monitor Iran Human Rights, IHR, has said at least 45 protesters, including 8 children, have been killed by security forces. British broadcaster BBC Persian Service has confirmed the deaths and identities of 22 people, while Iranian authorities have reported the deaths of 6 security personnel. Syria's defense ministry has announced a ceasefire in the northern city of Aleppo after several days of fighting between the Syrian Democratic Forces, SDF, and government troops. The ministry said a temporary truce took effect at 3 a.m. in the Aleppo neighborhoods of Sheikh Maqsoud, Ashrafi, and Bani Zaid. It added that armed groups were given a 6-hour window until 9 a.m. to withdraw from the area. Newsmen on the ground reported that the state's internal security forces are continuing operations to search the Ashrafi neighborhood in Aleppo. Some 120,000 people left the Sheikh Maqsood and Ashrafi neighborhoods in the past 48 hours. At least 22 people have been killed since Tuesday, including 9 civilians, according to the health officials. Russia attacked Ukraine with the hypersonic Oreshnik missile overnight Thursday, a rare use of one of its most advanced weapons during the latest onslaught targeting the country amid freezing temperatures. The Russian armed forces launched a massive strike with high-precision, long-range land and sea-based weapons, including the Oreshnik mobile medium-range ground-based missile system, the Russian Ministry of Defense said in a statement Friday. The Oreshnik is one of Russia's newest weapons, traveling up to 10 times the speed of sound, with a range that allows it to reach all of Europe, Russia's missile forces chief has said. The missile can contain multiple warheads and carry either conventional or nuclear payloads. Moscow used it for the first time in November 2024, striking the Ukrainian city of Dnipro, even though the weapon was not fully developed at the time. The Venezuelan government has begun releasing detainees considered political prisoners by human rights groups in what officials described as a goodwill gesture. Spain's foreign ministry said 5 of its nationals, including one dual national, has been released. Among them is thought to be the rights activist Rocio San Miguel. The move comes after the U.S. seized Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro in a lightning raid on the capital, Caracas, on Saturday to face jury trafficking charges in New York. The release of political prisoners in Venezuela has been a long-held U.S. demand, especially during moments of heightened repression around elections or protest. George Rodriguez, the head of Venezuela's National Assembly and the brother of its interim president, Delcy Rodriguez, announced on state television that a significant number would be released immediately without specifying the number or identity of prisoners being freed. Hundreds of political prisoners are detained in Venezuelan prisons, with only a handful thought to be released so far.